welcome into DomTime, everyone. Two great guests tonight on a difficult, explosive issue that finally is getting some different looks at. Our conversation tonight with Asa Khalif, founder and president of Racial Unity, Natasha Lewis, author and online radio host. Let's go to Conrad in Philadelphia. Conrad, welcome in. Thanks for being first in. Go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I was listening to some of the comments they was saying about some of the black women that might be having kids out of wedlock, and this is my own opinion. This stuff's been going on since I'm 60 years old. Mm-hmm. This stuff them two gentlemen and lady are talking about that been going on since the 60s. So to me, it's like a little game. If you don't work nowhere, you don't have no income. But you have 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids. You tell the public assistance office, I don't know where he's at. If they really want to solve this, they can ride right over their house. The husband, the guy is living right in the house with them. They get Section 8, they get WIC, they get free food stamps. Mm-hmm. So what would you do? Would you live in a house with nothing, or would you play the game? It's a game. It is easy. You can them two right there can leave right out of that office right now and so go down to WIC office and tell them they got a little baby and they don't have no income, and WIC will give it to them. So some of these people have been living on this system for years and years. This ain't nothing that just started.
Thanks, Conrad, for that. Thank you, Conrad. I got you. Thank you. And I think that we've discussed this a little bit, that this is, because the statistics bear this out, African-American community never had these kind of out-wedlock births when we had Jim Crow and worse. Mm-hmm. And yet now that we're reaching some degree of sense of racial parity, these numbers are there. And is that the reason?
Well,
I mean, right?
he does make a valid point. There are people that commit those types of crimes, and,
right.
But you're always going to have a subset culture that, they get into that kind of thing. So his points are valid that, yes, they're out there, but I disagree that, the majority of people are abusing the system. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I have to agree with Tasha. The system is there to help. I think for the most part, people are not abusing the system. It's there for a safety net for families who really need it at the point.
And it crosses all colors. Right, Conrad, though, if you have 2 or 3 different kids, right, you're continuing to do this.
No, exactly.
I'm not saying they're fraudulent, they're trying to do something, but this becomes enculturated, doesn't it?
It's up to, again, to the family, to the elders, to break that cycle of poverty, first of all, and that cycle of, in my opinion, laziness.
Okay, let me take another call. I want to squeeze one more person in. Brenda, you're with Asa and Natasha. Go right ahead, Brenda. Hey, Brenda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead, Brenda. Turn your TV down, Brenda. Thanks.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Okay, Brenda, you're going to hear yourself in delay, so can you turn the TV down? Okay, thanks, Brenda, very much. When you call in, just turn your TV off. You'll hear it in a replay, and you'll get confused around all this. All right, so Asa, coming off Trayvon Martin, very difficult tragedy, et cetera, and now this debate. What's the biggest takeaway that's positive coming out of this that you think a light is finally being shown and we're focusing on?
The biggest thing that's positive, if anything, is that we're having an open and honest discussion about it.
Okay.
And we're not afraid to talk about it now. It's not the elephant in the room that everyone is choosing to ignore. If there's going to be any type of change in the community, it has to start with us. And we have to be leaders of that conversation.
All right, and Natasha, biggest positive takeaway?
The biggest positive thing is I think it's starting to expose people's true opinions, which is good, because we don't necessarily want people to be in the dark about how they feel. So I do agree that this is a great time for positive dialogue so that we can move forward.
Well, and insights, kind of the things you said tonight about some people in your radio show, desegregation, and the whole issue. Bill O'Reilly, I think, put it best. Where's the PSA saying to women, particularly geared toward women, because we do this, that out-of-wedlock pregnancy may be something that's going to be a hazard to you?
Well, I mean, we talked about this earlier, that goes back to the slavery era. Like, there was never a time for the black community where, marriage was welcome. Like, going back to slavery, we weren't even allowed to be married. So to now have this fast forward to the present time, and now we're all of a sudden surprised that this statistic is there, that it goes back to when we weren't even allowed to be married in the first place.
Natasha, thanks for joining us tonight. Asa, to be continued maybe on the radio, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Coming up, the opponents of privatizing LCB in Pennsylvania go to Curtis Sliwa of the Guardian Angels. I'll tell you why. For 90 years in Pennsylvania, we've had what we call state stores, where the government of Pennsylvania is involved in selling alcohol. It's a ridiculous idea that goes back to the Great Depression and beyond. And I predict that come September, we're going to see a change. That law is going to be changed, and we're going to privatize. Philadelphia Daily News apparently doesn't like that idea. Their Saturday Daily News cover story interviewed Curtis Sliwa of the Guardian Angels, famous Guardian Angels. And the whole piece was, if we have the state stores privatized, you're going to see a lot more robberies. And Curtis Sliwa says you're going to see posters of scantily clad women enticing you to buy beer. My goodness, is this the best the opponents have of LCB privatizing? Tomorrow on my radio show, I'll have Sliwa on. We'll take him on. We'll tell you more about it on the next Dom Show at 7 p.m. Thanks for joining us tonight.